Hello, my name is Alicia Torres. I am a junior at California Baptist University pursuing my business administration degree with a focus to leadership and accounting. So I have a question for you. How many of you have ever had to give a presentation in front of an audience? My guess is a lot of you are shaking your head yes, because that's a pretty common occurrence. But the more important question is, was that presentation successful? Probably not as many saying yes at this point. And if you're being honest, a lot of you were unsuccessful during your presentations. But don't worry, there are a lot of presenters out there that face the similar challenges. So the good news is there's a book out there to help with this topic. It is called Presenting to Win: The Art of Telling Your Story. Now, this book was written by Jerry Weissman in 2009. Jerry Weissman founded the company Power Presentations in 1988, and some of their largest and earliest clients included Cisco Systems, especially during their initial public offering roadshow preparation. Today, the company has been rebranded as Suasive, and they have customers like Netflix, Yahoo, Salesforce, Intel, Microsoft, and many more. So some of the key points that Weissman addresses include Wi-Fi, which we'll go over in just a moment, capturing your audience, and keeping it simple. So Wi-Fi, it's kind of a funny acronym there, but what it means is what's in it for you. Not you, the presenter, but you, your audience. Make sure you know what they are looking for and what's important to them. Why should they listen to you? We've all been in that presentation where the speaker is just mindlessly talking and completely loses our attention. Don't be that presenter. Make sure that you are giving facts and information that is pertinent to your audience. You can always use some helpful phrases. There are quite a few of them detailed in the book, but one of them is just to say, this is important to you because, and outline it. The next step is capturing your audience. This goes hand in hand with Wi-Fi, but one of the key steps that a lot of people leave out of this key point is the research and analysis. Get to know your audience. Understand what's important to them. Understand what challenges they face and what they're going to want to hear. Audience advocacy, continuing down that path, understanding the goals and objectives of your audience. Again, what is important to them? Use the ideology of Aristotle in Pathos, the ability to connect with the feelings, desires, wishes, fears, and passions of your audience. And current events. It's very important as a presenter to stay up to date on the events of the world and especially the business world that affect the industries of your audience. Make sure that you know what's going on. Read the local newspaper, read your business pages, watch the business news in the morning as you're preparing to go and speak in front of an audience. The final key point is keeping it simple. This cannot be stressed enough. The first item here is your structure and flow. Now, Weissman dedicates quite a bit of this book to the structure and flow. But the main thing is to keep it uniform. Pick one structure and flow and maintain that throughout your presentation. Next are your visuals. Make sure that your text is large enough for everyone to read in the room. Don't use too much color or too much boldness that it's going to be hard for your reader to see. Don't use unnecessary graphics and minimize the use of graphics. Too much can be a little too much on the eyes of your reader, of your audience, and you want to make sure that they can easily read it. And lastly is your tone. Make sure that you keep an upbeat voice with a varied tone so that you don't sound monotone and have your listener just completely shut you out. Now, Along with a successful presentation comes the obligation as Christians to make sure that we are conducting ourselves in a manner that fits with Christian doctrine. So a few scriptures that I have for you here today to keep that in mind. First one is 1 Peter 5:8, which really talks about remaining ethical and not succumbing to the world, especially in this worldly business environment. And there in 1 Peter 5:8, it says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour." Another area is hard work, making sure that you're putting the work in. And this scripture is Proverbs 10:4. "He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich." And lastly, and my favorite verse, is Colossians 3:23 through 24. It's remembering the foundation and who your ultimate leader is. "And whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Christ." So in closing, presentations do not have to be difficult. Remember to keep in mind what's in it for you or your audience, capture your audience, and keep it simple. And most importantly, keep God at the forefront of everything that you do, and you'll have a successful presentation. Thank you for listening.